UPSC is about learn to write when you don't know. That the day you develop this ability to write answers when you don't know, you will compete in UPSC. That is, so don't go in exactly predicted, let's say this. So that should always be in your mind. If you train your mind to write answers when you don't know, rather than leaving, let's say, questions, you should not leave questions. If you have developed this type of thinking, then even if you do not know, you will end up writing good. Think about those answers or questions you know, how much marks you get. Even if the questions you know, you may not get good marks, but a question you do not know, if you write, you may get equally that or better than that also. Right? Why? तो when you write an unknown question, ये एग्जामिनर को भी पता है कि इसका आंसर सबको आता नहीं है. They know it very well. So when people don't know this question answer, then how you write, that will be appreciated. Rather than how better you write. No. This. Because some people will simply skip. Some people will write 1-2 paras this way. But there are people who will write that they can get better than a question you are writing, let's say probability. The probability is a well-known topic. The threshold is high. Unless you write to that threshold, marks will not be given. Yes. Even if you are writing something relevant on probability, you are not getting marks. You don't have to write simply something relevant. You have to write something better than that. Because all can write on probability. All can write on probability. So that is the marking system, let's say this. Anyhow, that's why 2023, yes, 22. 2022, it was the toughest case study paper. Toughest paper. When you get confidence in ethics, read 2022 papers. Before that, you don't read 2022 papers. Toughest paper, lengthiest paper. अब उसमें बच्चों ने क्या अपना विजडम लगाया, जो समझदार बच्चे हैं. पेपर तो सबके लिए डिफिकल्ट है. So let's complete the papers somehow. Because most of the people will not be able to complete the papers. Most of the people are not going to come. वैसे भी नहीं complete करते हैं. वैसे भी ethics paper में you will find candidates so often कि one case study I left, 2 case study left, I was not able to complete this. So completing paper even in ordinary way will be outstanding that year. This merely you complete the paper, it is outstanding. Which is what she told when she came. That the task was to complete the paper. So no introduction, no any this and that. Tamjam means direct, write direct, answer. This. That can be considered. So she got that year. Not it was highest, but second highest, I guess. First highest was 142 that year. This second ranker she got. Anyhow, so let's come to case studies. If you understand case studies, you will be able to do better. This, if you do not understand them, try to write by your brute force of knowledge. So UPSC is, you know that, even brutal than that. So there are some of the things you should know. We'll tell. Today class will go only in that. Talking about case studies, talking about various aspects of case studies. This. So we'll try to, let's say that. First, you should know that case studies. So, demand. What exactly, let's say that, the case studies demand. This is one. Second is the trends, let's say that. What are the trends case studies related to? The third is that types of instructions they have asked, types of instructions, this, and then strategy to write good answer. This, in this section, we'll teach you about structure, about content, this, what should be the structure, content, introduction, conclusion, quotations, blah blah things. These are just few things that you should know on case studies. Let's take first is ki demand. Let's say this ki what they demand. See, the case studies are about problems in conflicting situation. They are problems in a conflicting situation. This, and you as designated, so you will be a designated person. They will try to mention you. This, the designated person are supposed to solve in a structured manner. This, in a structured manner, and this structured manner should be guided by ethics and certainly, let's say, law. This, it should be guided by ethics and law, that is structured. This, largely it is considered as psychometric plus philosophical test. This, it is a psychometric and philosophical test in a conflicting situation. This conflicting situation. Structured is that you are not supposed to answer the way you want, but the way they want. So they will ask some questions in that context. That is what we have to understand. This, now, if you take, let's say that trends, means so far in our country, we generally solve our problems by application of common sense, legal aspect, or you can talk in geography, geographical factors, society, sociological factors, polity, constitutional factor. We don't have any such academic background where you have solved problems from ethical perspective. Here you will first time try to learn in UPSC how to solve them. That also makes you, let's say that precarious, because if you had academic experience in your academics, so then you could have been, let's say, given certain type of structure, other things. That's why some people can have a completely wrong way to solve the problem. And some people, even if they have not been taught ethics, they can solve the problems in a very structured way because they have got education in that way. That's why even some students, you know, that they try to write this paper without any guidance, they can write better answers because there is ethics in them. The way they have been grown, let's say grown up, brought up, etc. That is a factor you should know. Anyhow, let's come to next factor is called, if you take trends, let's say this. So trends, we have a long, let's say that history now, let's say 2013, and then you are writing in 26. Chalo 26 we got 27. So we can say that This trend you can consider. Now, when they here introduce, you know that it was, we'll find that there will be, let's say, single this or one or two variables. This. So from today's perspective, the case study that they will draft, the problem that they will draft, that will be very simple problem in which you either you can have one problem or two problems. This way. So number of problems, let's say that. The problems will be either one or two problems. This. तो उस समय के लिए वो डिफिकल्ट था because imagine कि we still remember when ethics paper was introduced, so we started teaching ethics without knowing ethics. And I am the only critical resource left in market who has experience of teaching ethics since 2013. So when it was introduced in 2013, we started teaching. So we did not know ना कि क्या पूछने वाले हैं, क्या नहीं. We applied our intuition, our intuition, etc. I know still group of people. हालांकि पहले ही बैच काफ़ी पॉपुलर हो गया था. पहले बेसमेंट में चलता था वहाँ पर ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर में, एंड पीपल यूज्ड टू सिट इवन ऑन स्टेयर्स एटसेट्रा बिहाइंड. तो बिल्कुल पैक होता था, राइट. क्योंकि अभी उस समय कंप्लीट ऑफलाइन होता था, ऑनलाइन इतना नहीं होता था. मतलब देयर वाज नो ऑनलाइन. वी स्टार्टेड ऑनलाइन इन 2016. तो 13, 14, 15, you know this. Anyhow, तो somehow की केस स्टडीज़ वी रेड ए लॉट. जैसे कि अब पढ़ना शुरू किए केस स्टडीज़ कि कहाँ कहाँ केस स्टडी होता है, कैसा होता है. तो कारपोरेट सेक्टर का केस स्टडी वी रेड, भोपाल गैस ट्रेजेडी वी रेड, जो पहले से इंसिडेंट्स हो चुके हैं. उससे थोड़ा आइडिया लगा कि केस स्टडीज़ कैसे होता है, राइट. Somehow it worked, let's say, the way we started talking, it worked, let's say, this is how it is. So that is how the thing went on. So that time case studies were simple case study, one problem. What is that problem? So let's say you are going to appear in UPSC interview. On the way you, let's say that get injured one woman and one, let's say that son or child. So what you will do? This is the case study. Right. Or let's say you are this particular designated officer. One old age woman comes and let's say she does not have some of the documents. And you have to, let's say serve her, solve her problem, give benefit of the programs. What you will do? Right. ये तो आजकल थियरी का क्वेश्चन होता है. This, और उसमें I will show you also, will show you instruction also. Instruction भी एक ही होगा, discuss your response. बस हो गया question, discuss your response. That way, that was the time you should know that. Just then imagine that they ask, they gave you 4 options and they ask you to write pros and cons. Right. आज के डेट में क्या है कि यू आर मास्टर इन राइटिंग, पीपल आर मास्टर इन राइटिंग प्रोस एंड कॉन्स एंड ऑप्शंस, बट दे गेव फॉर फर्स्ट, सेकंड, 13, 14 दे गेव ऑप्शंस एंड यू हैव टू राइट प्रोस एंड कॉन्स, एंड देन दे आल्सो आस्क दैट कि यू राइट, 2 में तो हमने दिया है ऑप्शन, तीसरे में आप ऑप्शन लिखो. You write options and evaluate. Then we used to teach people, train people, students how to write options. Up to now, students, let's say, they are trained, they know, they are master in writing. Things have gone to a certain level. So that was the thing, let's say that. Then meanwhile, many things happen, you know that. Meanwhile, many things happen. And finally, you come to this stage, if you talk. So if you take last, let's say that, if you talk about 2021, 22 onwards, if you talk, Then what they have done is they will not give you 1, 2 variable. This a question can have 4, 5 variables. The question can have 4, 5 variables. Then there was one question. There was one question. Now here you have minimum 3 questions and maximum 5 questions. This. Then less stressful situation. Less stressful. Right? It is highly stressful. मतलब एक्सट्रीम. बच्चे भी लर्न कर चुके हैं कि कैसे बबल बस्ट करना है. आप कुछ भी क्रिएट करो, मैं प्रेशर लूंगा ही नहीं. So already we have shared the 2024 next slide wala pressure wala, let's say that they ask a case study in which let's say mother was ill and you have no one to care, blah blah things, but in office also you have lots of pressures, this and that. Is what you will do. This on the 2025 this birth that let's say now mother dies. Right. This you can say this. So then what you will do? So that is how extreme situation. तो then कि कुछ बच्चे तो आजकल काफ़ी एडवांस हो गए. That is how I told you. तो बच्चों ने बोला कि virtual burial will be done. प्रेशर ही खत्म कर दिया. मैं जाऊंगा ही नहीं. Virtual burial. Anyhow. तो मेनी अ टाइम कुछ बच्चों के लिए केस स्टडी तो नौटंकी जैसा, सॉरी टू से दिस, उनके लिए बहुत ही ये केक वॉक टाइप का लगेगा. दिस कि ये क्या एक ही चीज़ को बार बार पूछ रहे हो. दिस इज हाउ इट इज. तो दैट 6 केस स्टडीज यू थिंक यू आर राइटिंग this same thing you are writing again and again. This because all are related to conflicting situations. So that is what changed. The knowledge has advanced. That is what, let's say. So they will have extreme level of different types of pressures building, not one type. यहाँ तो एक ही तरीके का है कि on the way you are an interview देना है या care करना है. तो उस समय के बच्चों ने, चूंकि वी आर पार्टी टू दैट, तो बच्चों ने लिखा कि एग्जाम जाए, आई विल हेल्प देम. रिटैरिकल हो गया. आफ्टर ऑल आईएएस बनने के बाद भी सेवा ही तो करना है. दे आर आस्किंग टू मैनेज बोथ, नॉट आइदर. Anyhow, so that is what you will find is this to highly stressful situation, 3-4 questions, and then this variable that way. So then your case study, the paragraphs that they will give it can be more than 1 page also. Nowadays it is generally more than half page. That was a time it used to be not half page, even less than that. Then there generally you are given 4 pages to write, which you have to write in 250 words. ऑलमोस्ट, या जितना पेज है आप लिखो अगर आपके पास स्पीड है. दिस तो दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग दे हैव डन. सो व्हेन लेट्स से कि दे आर आस्किंग, तो देन वी हैव टू नो कि हाउ द लेट्स से कि नॉट द ट्रेंड, दिस इज हाउ द ट्रेंड इन लेट्स से कि मैक्रो वे. व्हाट आर दोज लेट्स से क्वेश्चंस दैट दे आस्क, और व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चंस दे हैव आस्क्ड दिस टाइम, एंड देन हाउ दे हैव ब्रॉट चेंजेस इन देयर नेचर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. And what does it mean about when they ask a particular type of question? This. Why? So you are not habitual of adhering such instruction in first 3 papers, isn't it? Command कुछ भी हो, answer मुझे जो लिखना है वही लिखूंगा. right, this. तो दिस इज हाउ इट इज नॉट केयर्ड इन मार्केट ऑल्सो. चाहे आप क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन पूछो या कमेंट पूछो, ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है, आंसर है, 10 पॉइंट लिखना था, मैंने लिख दिया, आप इवेलुएट करो जो करना है. नो. बट इट इज एथिक्स पेपर एंड इट्स 20 mark question. Then if you do not follow instruction, then it will become wrong answer. That is the challenge here, let's say. That's why we have to understand these questions. What are those questions? Their meaning, let's say, yesterday itself someone asked we have a core group of this mains people. This year we made some groups. Those who are writing mains, so we have one group. So someone asked about course of action. Right? She is writing mains. She is asking about course of action. What does it mean? और आज के डेट में बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम यह है कि AI से वो देखना शुरू करते हैं और AI gives a wrong description. तो मुझे ये भी लिखना पड़ता है आजकल. I write what they ask, then I also write कि what AI is telling you. If you depend on them, it is wrong. Because AI does not understand the distinction, you know that, which we'll talk while talking. Anyhow, so we have to know that instruction. So we'll show you those instructions this way. Why you should know trends? This is the question, let's say that. Okay, this is a major aspect of history. Still we are trying to understand the trends. So one major aspect is that today when you face case studies, they are more conflictual type, more stressful. They will have so many variables as they can add. It is even worse than CSAT comprehension. Many a time you will doubt कि are they testing this case study or they are having comprehension test. This. तो I generally sarcastically speak that कि क्योंकि उनको इकोनॉमिकल होना होता है, पेपर बनवाया होगा उन्होंने, तो एक सीसेट वाला इधर भी पूछ दिया. This is how it is. Because when you write a case study of more than one page, this will show you, let's say, one case study on budget they ask. Budget. वो भी appropriation. Right. Appropriation. कौन जानता है budget appropriation? Budget तो पूछ दिया, ठीक है. कौन जानता है appropriation? How to appropriate money within budget allocation? This. तो वो तो एक पारा, मतलब एक पेज देख के ही उसको हार्ट अटैक हो जाएगा कि मैं इसमें करूँ तो क्या करूँ. इसीलिए बच्चों ने स्ट्रैटेजी निकाला है, लास्ट के 4 लाइन पढ़ो और लिख दो आंसर. जब आपके पास टाइम नहीं है. Anyhow, 2 केस स्टडी है जो मुझे भी ट्रबल करता है. तो चूंकि बजट वी आर लॉट्स ऑफ, हम लोग काफ़ी फेमिलियर है, तो हमारे लिए इतना ट्रबल नहीं है. ट्रबल ये जरूर था कि उसमें राइट क्या होना चाहिए. तो स्टूडेंट के लिए कितना ट्रबल होगा, you should know that. We know appropriation and sub-allocation and etc. One case study is on AI, artificial intelligence. वो भी energy consumption. AI and energy consumption. This, जो कि मैं बहुत कम जानता हूँ कि AI में एनर्जी कंजम्पशन कैसे होता है. अब क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है कि आप एनर्जी कंजम्पशन कम कैसे करोगे. मतलब वो क्या है, क्या चाहते हो उसको. राइट. आपके यहाँ तो डोमेन एक्सपर्टीज है नहीं, आप चाहते हो कोर एक्सपर्टीज आ जाए स्टूडेंट से. वो क्वेश्चन चाहते तो वो एक पैराग्राफ लिख के भी पूछ सकते थे. तो उन्होंने एक पेज से ज़्यादा लिखा है पहले AI के बारे में, कंपनी के बारे में. दे हैव रिटन एंड देन दे से हाउ यू विल रिड्यूस एनर्जी कंजम्पशन. दिस एंड इट इज़ नॉट टुडे केस स्टडी, 4-5 years बैक केस स्टडी, जब AI इतना ज़्यादा. किसी गूगल का होगा, प्रोजेक्ट लगाया होगा गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में, तो उन्होंने देखा होगा, पूछ दिया होगा. दिस. Anyhow, so let's say that a case study can go to that level, it's troubling it. Plus, as simple as a small case study can come. कि बैंक dormant account, and then कि one bank staff, she uses that money from dormant account for her father treatment. Now whether it is propriety, etc., etc., that is simple case study. So just to tell and summarize that, there used to be simple. We have to know the trend, how it has gone. We'll show you while just displaying those things. Today we have more conflicting things. Accordingly, you have information strategy. It is not as challenging. The way people face challenge that time, you will face the similar challenge. That is the only thing we can talk here. Then, thereafter, let's say the question is why we are supposed to know. Why we should know these trends. This. This. So basically, let's say that why you have to know it. Yes. So it is also good part of this UPSC paper, especially mains. Let's say they have recurring themes, and those recurring themes, let's say, they will keep repeating. This. So when you are getting any case study on the basis of recurring themes, which is a repeat, you are well prepared on that. This. And we'll show when we'll, let's say, show some of the PYQs, how it is. So there are three recurring themes, and the most popular theme is related to environment. This environment, development, this conflict. This. And within environment, development, conflict, you can club all those sub-themes. This, within this, you can club, let's say, corporate governance, this tribal social justice, simple, I will tell separately, let's say, this Nicobar project. Yes, suppose a case study is asked a Nicobar project, it is not first time they are going to ask. Already they have asked that type of project. No, Nicobar project is not only ecology and development project. There are tribals also, Aborigines in Nicobar, that you have protected them also. It is related to tribal also. It is related to social justice also. This way, it is. So it will not be, let's just matter of only development and environment. But it is a major theme and it is the most popular theme. This is the most popular theme in UPSC, followed by civil services. This civil services, that. So anything directly, indirectly related to civil services, public services. This. The civil services, public services, let's say. Either you are a doctor, engineer, secretary, district magistrate, gram panchayat head, means you will have this or that designation, and those designations, if it is testing probity, integrity, honesty, accountability, transparency, leadership, whatever you can link it. So one major theme will be related to civil services, and another major theme is environment, development, conflict, corporate governance, social justice, and they themselves will contribute to your 70% of case studies. Almost, let's say it is called 68% of your case studies will come from these two themes, and they will repeat it. Every year you will have a case study on that, not one, even two you can have on this environment development related, and at least you will have one case study on this, not one, or even you can have two case studies on that. This way, let me tell that one case study that they have kept repeating is minister civil servant relationship. This, and they say that if neutrality is lost, then what will be the consequence? They have asked 2 to 3 times. Then they have asked a project type of, let's say, project bridge is getting constructed, or bridge it has pier, means the pillars, let's say that they become defective. 2 times they have asked. This similar, just with some minor changes. This. So there are, let's say, themes which get repeated, and that is how our role should be to know them, etc., and cover them, so that we can prepare, let's say, right answer as per changing, let's say, this aspect. So this is one thing. Second thing is that we have to know right understanding of the instruction and questions, because they keep changing. Keep changing. How you will know keep changing? So let me give this example. The 2013, they asked that give your reaction, or what will be your reaction? This was a question in 2013, right? Let's say ask, let's say that when you are asking, give your reaction on any such issue, let's say case study, so what you will write? In reaction, what you will write? Your understanding, जो अभी का आपका understanding है, उसके हिसाब से. Course of action. Yes. Emotional intelligence. ठीक है? Yes. So, according to you, we will write course of action. Right? But let's say the second question is course of action. Then?
Course of action is specific. Reaction is...
It means कि reaction is different from course of action, right? That you have to understand. We'll talk all these things. But those who do not know, what they will do? They will try to manage कैसे difference लिखना है. Now, you know what they have done it? They asked in 2024. Again, this instruction. After a gap of, you can imagine. I know many people did not know. But we generally keep saying, we keep giving, because since we teach in first class itself all the instructions we teach, so people are aware. But those who do not know, you know that, कि उनका क्या होगा. So they repeated it. The instructions are repeated. That you should know that. First. Second is that it is not necessary that they will repeat the instruction in the same way. They will bring some modification in that. Right? Modification. So how they bring modification? So let's take this. So they bring modification. Let's say one instruction is they ask discuss your ethical dilemma. Ethical. Discuss your ethical dilemma. This is how they ask, right? Now, you know that what they have modified in this? They have asked this. What will be your response to ethical dilemma? What will be your response to ethical dilemma? Certainly this instruction and this instruction both are not same. This, that they bring modification, that this. That's why the trend we have to know, so that we can understand past better and we can write like this. Now then you have to, let's say, learn it so that you can write as per the changing trend, right? मान लो हमारा ही अपना कोई स्टूडेंट है और अगर 2023 का है, और स्टूडेंट सपोज ही स्टडीड इन 2023, राइट, तो और उसको वो 2026 में मेंस लिखना है, तो उसको तो शॉकिंग हो जाएगा, बोलेगा हमें कि सर आपने क्या पढ़ाया था, दिस आपने ये सब पढ़ाया क्यों नहीं, कैसे पढ़ाएंगे दिस, कैसे पढ़ाएंगे, हाउ कैन वी टीच, लेट्स से दैट वी हैव टू टीच एज पर द टाइम, एज वी टोल्ड यू दैट कि इस क्लास में यू नो दैट देयर इज लेस, पहले डिस्कशन होते थे, इसलिए पहले का अलग तरीका था, तो डिस्कशन होता था। इनफैक्ट जब फर्स्ट ईयर से पढ़ाना शुरू किया हम लोगों ने, तो डिस्कशन वाज द मेन थिंग ना, बहुत डिस्कशन होता था, राइट, क्लास का एक अलग वो होता था, राइट, एंड स्टूडेंट्स यूज्ड टू एंजॉय दैट, लॉट्स ऑफ डिस्कशन वी हैड, lots of participation we had, so that was thing. But then I had to decide that no, it will have to change, because when answers are becoming more informative, answer is more about just write a definition, write the philosophy, write 4-5 dimensions, and then write this conclusion. So then why you are going to be so much of discussion, so we have to curtail, right, because our student will have disadvantage. Even if they know better, but they will not have these kind of things, they will have disadvantage. I had to decide 2 years back and I changed this. So that's why we have curtailed the discussion part on that. Anyhow, let's come to our point. So why there will be a shock? Because of this. Because nowadays what we taught introduction, what you should write introduction in 2023, we do not tell that, we bring modification in this. This is one aspect. Second aspect is this, we'll tell you that the answers etc. will come to that point. Next is that there was a time, we were saying this trend, let's say, there was a time they will ask is small, let's say that your designation, the small, let's say that जो designation होगा, so you largely they will have DM, they will have SP, they will have Pradhan. अब कहाँ, what they have come, you are a secretary, you are DGP, this, so they have gone to higher level of, let's say this. When you are a secretary, let's say that, and when you are a DM, thinking will be different. This, तो दैट इज ए चेंज, लेट्स से दैट। अब यहाँ पे बच्चे क्या हमें बताना होता था कि भैया तुम प्रधान हो, प्रधान हो, प्राइम मिनिस्टर जैसा मत सोचो। तो प्रधान के पास कितना सारा रिसोर्स होगा, प्रधान हैज अ वेरी लिमिटेड रिसोर्स to solve a problem, right? So you have to write your answer in that way. But अब तो आप प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन गए, you are a secretary. So when you are a secretary, you have lots of resources at your disposal, right, to solve a problem. Is it reflecting in your answer? Yes. So this is a change. That is how I'll find that, and that is how it will help you to understand when we are talking. प्लस लेट्स से कि आंसर्स का जो क्वालिटी है, विच नाउ आई विल स्टार्ट वन बाय वन टॉकिंग, तो बेसिकली लेट मी टेल दैट कि कैसे होता था आंसर, इट हैज गॉन लेवल। इफ यू टॉक द लेवल, आंसर कंटेंट, this क्या, तो पहले अगर पूरे आंसर में भी आपने अगर 1-2 एग्जाम्पल लिख दिया, it is outstanding. That's why पहले discussion होते थे कि you discuss, right, a particular philosophy, you tell the philosophy, then towards end you tell 1-2 examples. Now you discuss each point and keep telling examples. Right. This is a change, right? So today, let's say that one student, when he is writing, their student will write just one example, two examples, and this is how. Today, a student is going to write, let's say, the 2013 one. I will tell that 1 or 2 examples, and 2026 a case study, a single case study. I will tell you that it can have minimum 10 examples. This. And students are ready with this. This is a change. अब जिसको हमने पहले पढ़ाया है, 21 वाले भी बच्चे भी मेंस लिख रहे हैं मान लो, राइट, कुछ लोग रह गए हैं तो 21, 2 एटसेट्रा, तो उस समय वी डिड नॉट टेल दैट मच एग्जाम्पल. हमारा कोई ओल्ड हैंड रिटन नोट्स मिलता होगा मार्केट में तो आपको दिखेगा, it will be having less example, more descriptive type of writing. अभी क्या है, it is more point format of writing. This. So that is a change. Now do you have that example? So you have to prepare. Already we have told lots of examples. You can see this way. Plus each example, etc., there will be philosophy also. This. Then next, let's take that. Here there will be greater uniformity in answers. क्यों? एक ही 2 लोग तो पढ़ाने वाले थे. We dominated the market. आप जो करो बोलोगे बच्चे फॉलो करेंगे. This, that is how it is. So I was teaching. There was one ex-IAS officer. He was teaching. Right. So largely market will dominate what you are telling it. There is uniformity. Now is, market is flooded with not only teachers. In fact, आज तो ethics पढ़ाना बहुत ही आसान है, कोई भी पढ़ा सकता है. जिसको ethics नहीं आता है वो भी पढ़ा सकता है. 50 terminologies of ethics. ठीक है, तो आप लिख लो अभी AI से लिख लो 50 terminology और इधर बोर्ड पे अच्छा से बना लो डिजाइन वगैरह और बता दो पढ़कर. बस कि इंटीग्रिटी का मतलब ये होता है, ये एग्जाम्पल है. तो एथिक्स तो कोई भी पढ़ाने लगा है आज के डेट में. दिस वे, दैट इज वन. प्लस स्टूडेंट्स हैव आल्सो बिकम, you know that they are also quite prepared today. Since students are quite prepared today because AI has come, lots of sources you have, so they can make their answer unique. The uniformity to uniqueness. Uniqueness. And when we read the students' answer, we enjoy, let's say, their innovations. क्या innovation कर रहे हैं बच्चे? This. And that has brought lots of competition in this paper. This. There are students who can write with lots of uniqueness. Each question they can write in the way they want because they have information, they have philosophy. They are gathering some that kind of examples which you will not know. They want to write unconventional examples, etc. Blah blah things. That is how, and that is how, let's say, that the challenge. The today answers are more dynamic than the answers that used to be in past. Even our own students, I will frankly admit that those we taught in 2021, 22, 23, if they are writing mains, they will find it challenging. This. Because, and when we read their answers, we come to know that कि ये अभी भी पुराने स्टाइल पे लिख रहा है. और सिर्फ वो एथिक्स में ही नहीं है, वो किसी भी पेपर में है. चाहे GS you talk, optional you talk, all those things have changed. This. So that is what, let's say, it is about the beginning part of our today class on what we have to do. Then finally we'll show you some of the things. Then we'll talk, start telling what we have to teach. This is the theme wise we have prepared. Although we'll teach you, since we'll teach major themes also, sub themes also. This, so you'll find it in the themes if you take. As we told you that the two themes, if you add it, it becomes 68%. Civil services, environment, corporate governance, etc. like this. Thereafter, other themes are, let's say, why social justice is less, because we have prepared these themes. So, social justice, if you have standalone, then there is less. But social justice is already part of this. It is not separate. It is already part of. It is already part of this. Otherwise, social justice is the third most important theme. If you separate it, the first theme, let's say that we have written this civil service, etc. If you write third, it is social justice. This other major themes, though, when we will talk theme wala baat, I will talk there. This. Then other things are not that important. We have given, let's say, IR wala. At times there is a question also on IR. Arms related question they ask. The first time it was asked. AI we have given a separate, because this is how the age of, let's say that, we expect in near future, let's say more. So we have, let's say three questions, let's say 60 marks, let's say this. Although, let's say there are at least 3 questions on this social media related. Once they ask a social media related impact, and another the question they ask related to AI that I was talking. This, and third was, let's say, related to someone not able to remember. While PYQ I will talk on this. Anyhow, so this is about just theme, etc. when we talk. Then we have tried to, let's say, bring theme-wise instructions. What is this? Yes. Sub-themes. These are the sub-themes you'll find this, which, let's say that, if it is visible, if you see social justice, what they have asked on caste-based, let's say child labor, corporate exploitation. So this is how corporate it can come in that category. Exploitation under privileges, welfare, destitute groups, you can consider this. Then if you take civil service, this is disaster, political, administrative, executive, confronting systemic mafias, humanitarian sectors. Then sub-themes if you take like this, industrial effluent, tribal displacement. That is how we told about. Then vested interest, allocation, welfare, infrastructure, all this. Then these are also related to civil services. This, because whether you talk this, let's say molding patriarchal mindset, resisting ethical workplace harassment. Yes, this is also a sub-thing. 2 times they have asked, workplace, 3 times they have asked on workplace harassment. Then probity in governance is also related to civil service, corruption, whistleblowing. You'll find this. Then financial regulation, systemic manipulation, procurement, all are civil service related. That was, this is how they ask about global arms. This you can say constraint. You find this refugee, then they have asked this aspect, dumping, let's say that key of substandard goods. This is how technology related. So let me tell that yes, managing massive energy consumption, that was AI driven. Then toxic, let's say malicious, let's say this fake digital campaign targeting as children. Yes, that was, and Facebook, etc. That is 2024. These are the 3 case studies related to AI, etc. If you talk like this. Then it is just a repetition, what 70%, etc. they have taught, that is not important. Now, this is instruction, let's say, just will show you a reflection, what are the instruction if you take. So, let's take 2025 if you go. So, what they have asked? A to D, let's say this. They will ask options available, ethical dilemma, let's say, evaluate it, then options which you think better. This. ABC, let's say that, this option. कोई 5 वाला होगा तो I will show that also. This A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Yes. That is how I told it. You can see this. What are the options? Evaluate, ethical dilemma, options, let's say that most, and then they have given you this. In the above scenario, what type of training would you suggest for police officers posted to such district where stone mining illegal activities are rampant? This way. So basically, they want to elicit you more specific response from the given case study. You should know this. Even if you are done with this 4 options, there is a 5th option, the 5th question. Right. So that was, let's say, a challenging one. So that can be considered. Then I should show you what was the instructions. Let's say that if you get 13 etc. Yes. This. So what is the question? What would be your reaction after your above visit? Bring out and discuss ethical issues. That is the question. इसमें क्या है? Please evaluate. आपसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. Merit and demerit. Yes. Only A and B. Let's say what are the options available? Evaluate it. और इसमें तो this is same thing. Let's say this. 1, 2. Let's say this is what we'll find this. So that is how the nature you can consider. Nature of questions that time. इसमें तो option भी नहीं है. We'll find this. There are no options also. What is this? Discuss the feasible strategy which could be adopted to eliminate this conflict and which could lead to let's say sustainable development. Right? This. Now, when case study is not that lengthy and there is 1 question, 2 questions, then still students face challenge. Challenge is how to generate content. This is to know that. Now you have lots of content, how to sort it out. This. So that is what we have to know. Let's come to our point that what are the common instructions that we'll talk. So common instructions. Common instructions. One is options. Other is course of action. Yes. So any experience of writing case studies? Have you written any case study? Okay. You will be familiar with the case studies. At least पढ़ा तो होगा. No. Yes. So these are three common things. ये तो already concepts we have taught in theory section, so you know it. But this, the two aspect we have to talk. Let's now options. Let's say when we talk about options, this. So they asked to write options. This is one. Write options. What are options? Options. Now, second is evaluate options or critically evaluate, critically examine. This. Then third is this choose the most appropriate. And justify. This. Now, when they say that कि अभी क्या, what change has happened? This, in this what they have changed. Try to understand that कि 1, 2, 3 they are one question, but a case study can have. A case study can have 1, 2, 3 all. That was the traditional style. What UPSC has done it. Now it is not necessary that it will always ask this and this. It can simply ask you to write the options. What are the options available? And it will not ask second and third. This. Because it just wants you to write some options. Now, next can be that it can ask options and this, it will not ask this. It does not want you to choose, right? Because after writing evaluate option, they have asked next C question. That C question is discuss your course of action. Means there can be possibility of two case study question getting combined into one. In past, it was not, let's see, course of action will be in a separate case study. And then the option will be in a separate case study. But now that the case study can have both option also and course of action also. This is a change. Now suppose you do not know. जिसको नहीं पता है वो क्या करेगा? So we have experience what student do. Even if you ask only this, student is trained to write this also. The same, even if you ask 1 and 2, student is trained to necessarily choose and justify. Which is not needed. This we have to understand. Now, let's go that key options when they are asking. So what you have to do? So first thing is that you have to write discrete options. This means you have to write options which are not interconnected. Right? You have to write options which are not interconnected. Otherwise, वो course of action हो जाएगा. Right? So how there cannot be interconnection in option? So suppose one option is that, right, you should say take action as per law. This seek superior direction and act this leak in media for public pressure. So these are all different types of statements, you know that. They are not step by step, right? So options should be not step by step. Yesterday someone asked, let's say that, when she is asking whether in course of action we have to write only one step or we have to write step by step. It means the person has still doubt on that, what should be done. And it will be known only when you will write. Tomorrow से कल से आपको लिखना भी पड़ेगा थोड़ा बहुत. This it will give you some practice how to write this. So that way, let's say this. So when we say that this take your means you have to write discrete options, simple. They should not be interrelated. You can write this one as first also, this one as last also. There is no any question. Let's say that. Even let's say fourth, is that key? Let's say that key resigning from service instead of acting under pressure. Just I'm trying to write to negative भी लिख रहे हैं. Let's say negative option we are also writing. The options can have positive options also. Option can have negative option also. This is what we have to write. Basically, in a given situation, generally what civil servants do or what are the options available to them. That is called options, let's say that. You have to write minimum 3 options you have to write, maximum 4, more than that you cannot write. Yes. When they have told that कि write only option, तो आपको तो evaluate करना नहीं है, टेंशन लेना नहीं है और चूज करना नहीं है, तो 5 ऑप्शन लिख दो. This is how the trick, let's say that. Since you don't have to evaluate, it's better to write 5 options. Why to write 3 options? Yes, that is change you can consider. Now, this is option. Once you write options, let's say that, then you have to evaluate. So whether they are saying evaluate, whether they say critically examine, or let's say that this, the evaluate, critically examine, this you can consider. Or let's say that critically examine, critically evaluate. This. So it means the same thing. All will mean the same thing. सबका मतलब ये ही होता है कि you have to write pros and cons. This, you have to write pros and cons of each option. तो how you write pros and cons of each option? तो आपने 4 option लिख दिया. अब this is your copy, let's say that there. So you have to write one option first. You write here pros. You write cons. You write it. Then option 2. Then pros, cons. This 3. Pros, cons. It will go on. Then this, at least you are writing 4 times pros and cons. ना तो एक ही बार आप लिख सकते हैं. You can write once here pros and cons and let it go like this. No need to write again and again. Or if you write, it is not problem, right? This now. When you write pros of this, अगर आपका writing skill अच्छा नहीं है, तो जो आप यहाँ pros लिखोगे, right? वो यहाँ पे और जो आपने यहाँ कॉन्स लिखा है प्रोस हो जाएगा। तो you have to generate enough level of writing skill, content, varieties, so that you can avoid it. Right? This, so these are some अब थोड़े से nitty-gritty finer level thing. Finer level will come later with practice, etc. Let's say. So that is how it happens. Then कि certainly you have to choose in the lesson. तो उसके बाद let's say कि you generally write choosing the best option, choosing the most appropriate. तो अगर मान लो कि ऑप्शन लेट्स से कि 1 आप चूज करते हो, लेट्स से 4, राइट। अब प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे ये है कि जब आप जस्टिफिकेशन, व्हेन टू राइट जस्टिफिकेशन, सो देन इन दिस जस्टिफिकेशन हाउ दिस इज गोइंग टू बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दिस, because you have written already pros, the positive you have written, again you will write here justification, again writing skill is needed, right? There is a saying that you don't put all eggs in the same basket, right? You should have enough number of eggs and number of baskets also. Right? That will tell you how to write it. This. And then let's say that after writing justification, we write conclusion. This. So introduction, etc. still we are not talking. We are not talking how to structure. We are not talking how to make answer better, etc. That will talk separately. We are just talking about instructions that you have. That is how the option type, let's say this, when you write option type. Now, in this, you know what is, where is the focus you should have, or what the examiner is basically trying to know. The examiner is trying to know this. This is your thinking. This, how you think in a given situation. Which types of options you try. This is one. Then this one. That hardly matters. This is not as important. But बच्चे क्या करते हैं, जो मैटर नहीं करता है उसको मैटर कराते हैं. This, so they will write pros and cons with full force, right? बट जब मान लो कि क्वालिटी ही, सीमेंट का क्वालिटी ही खराब है, तो क्या करोगे इंटीरियर डिजाइनर का? When options are not appropriate, then you write any length of content, it hardly matters. Anyhow, how you justify your thinking again. This you should know that. That's why philosophy comes here. Your philosophical knowledge comes here. How better you know philosophy. Because that will give justification. And that will distinguish this justification from the prose that you have written. This. So that is how option type. Any doubt you have, so you can ask, we'll take next. Course of action. Right? Course of action. So in course of action, basically we go on, right? Step by step. Step by step. The step by step means steps will be interconnected. Steps will be interconnected. This. So when steps are interconnected, so what we do? We go from gradual, initial step to higher, bigger, step. This, can we say this? Right. Let me share that the case study. The case study is that कि there is a bank, and suppose कि you are the head of the bank. Hypothetical, जो PYQ आया था, but थोड़ा I am just trying to change. Bank head you are, there is an employee. That employee uses dormant account. So someone dormant account, she withdraws money and then she takes that money for the health treatment of her father. And this bank head has allowed, you are the, let's say, superior to him, you come to know this. Right. Then you are asked that discuss your course of action. Discuss your course of action. Right. So what will be your first step?
Assess on what grounds did he allow her to use it.
What is your first step?
Getting the facts of the case.
Yes. Your first step will be that informing oneself. That is called informing oneself. Informing oneself means you have to know the fact of the case, that what exactly happened. Dormant account, how much money withdrawn, when it was withdrawn, this, and let's say that whether it was allowed, so why it was allowed, all these details. Then what banking regulation says. In such situation, what banking regulation says. The first thing is that you can get the fact of the case, or you can first inform yourself. First you will try to inform yourself. आपने मान लो inform कर लिया, ठीक है? Now second step is,
we'll have a conversation with employee. Ask on what ground did he do so.
no. Second step is basically you have to understand that you are a senior person. So you will seek a report from your immediate subordinate, the person who is the bank head. You will seek a written report within a deadline. That way. Immediately. Now, आपने report भी ले लिया, उसके बाद what you will do? No. Show cause notice. We go for show cause notice to the said employee. So she will be asked to reply and asked to defend natural justice. Right? The show cause notice will be issued, and she is supposed to reply to that. And on the basis of show cause notice, as per banking regulation, now you proceed for disciplinary actions. This, as per the banking rules. This way. So that is what we mean by when we talk about step by step, right? अब इसमें चैलेंज ये होता है, ऑप्शंस में चैलेंज क्या है? तो when we are writing options, let's say that, as we have told, तो when you are writing options, तो ऑप्शन में चैलेंज क्या है कि are you going to write one of them as best option? Because here you have to write at least one option as the most appropriate. Because you have to choose it. You have to choose it. So you will choose the most appropriate option. Suppose you have not written the most appropriate option. Then this is how, तो हम लोगों के यहाँ इंस्ट्रक्शन होता है कि 7 marks देना. Right. If someone is not choosing not writing the most appropriate option, तो क्या करना होगा? Right. Let me give the dilemma that Naxalism area, you are the officer having, let's say, taken into custody, let's say some of the, let's say that those kind of Naxalites on which there is also reward money. Right. So you have taken into custody some Naxalites, and then some of them are also having, let's say, reward. If you arrest them or you take them into custody, you will be rewarded. So they are basically hardcore Naxalites. You have Naxalites, you have some hardcore Naxalites. This is one. Then when you are, let's say, taking them away, then over 500, more than that, women come and they are very aggressive and they want you to release them, otherwise they can harm your team. And your team is having less number of people, let's say. So basically team में कितने लोग होंगे? Right. The team has less number of people. There are a huge number of women. Right. और केस स्टडी में हमेशा फोन कनेक्शन काम नहीं करता है. इसलिए वी हैव डिजिटल इंडिया इनिशिएटिव, बट केस स्टडी में हमेशा कम्युनिकेशन फेल हो जाता है. राइट. तो basically you try to contact IG but you don't get connected. Same thing happened in 2025 case study. You try to connect with IG but he is not connected. Right. Basically they are saying that there is no connection, so you cannot get any direction from superior. Right. तो वो option है नहीं आपके पास. Then you have to take decision on your own. So what you will do? And it is a highly stressful situation. Just imagine they are highly, let's say, hardcore Naxalites. You have a limited team, phone is not getting connected, 500 women, and they can certainly harm you. They will force you to leave them because they are, let's say, they are huge in number. So what you will do? They are asking. What will be the most? They have asked options, by the way. Right. उस सारे options में suppose you are asked that the most appropriate option क्या होगा? What will be the most appropriate option?
So in case study, it has been mentioned that it is known that the strength of our team is quite weak with respect to those who are countering us. Is it mentioned?
Yes, yes.
Is it mentioned in the question that strength of my team is quite weak with respect to those?
Yes, yes, yes. वो तो presume case study, the way it is described, it shows कि you have less number of people. पूरे battalion के साथ तो अब चलेंगे नहीं. Right. What will be most appropriate? Will you release them? No, optional. It is option you have to write. No step. Step में तो कोई challenge नहीं है. When they ask to write course of action, there is no challenge. They have asked what are the options available to you. Choose the most appropriate option.
सर मतलब ये क्लियर है कि अगर भिड़ेंगे तो भिड़ेंगे.
Yes. Right. Negotiating.
We can discuss with the women and ensure them that nothing will happen.
Right. It does not matter. Right. You'll have to take an extreme.
Persuasion is one of the but it would be a so short solution.
Yes. Those who are non-hardcore, you can release some of them. This release, if not, shoot in legs. This. So that action. So if you shoot first in air, then in legs, it will get dispersed. और if you release someone, तो आप तो option ऐसे लिखना होगा कि दोनों उसमें होगा. You release those who are non-hardcore, some of them, right? That will pacify their anguish or जो aggression है. And if not, so then shoot in air, then in fire in air, then shoot in legs. Yes. So that is what you have to write. But again I will tell you that ये कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है कि ये एक most appropriate option होगा. It is not necessary. Why? तो स्टूडेंट्स आर वेरी इनोवेटिव टाइप, यू नो दैट. किसी स्टूडेंट ने ये भी लिखा है कि मीन्स कि हमारे फोर्स में अगर कोई उस एरिया का है तो दैट पर्सन सोशल इथोज अप्लाई सोशल इथोज टॉक इन देयर लैंग्वेज टू इन्फ्लुएंस देम, राइट. तो ऐसे भी लोगों ने लिखा है. एनी हाउ, जस्ट टू टेल यू दैट. तो बेसिकली व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू डू इज कि दे विल फोर्स यू इन सच ए स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन. You have to necessarily elicit a decision, and that can be even wrong. This way, that can be even wrong, let's say. That is how the challenge in this option type. But the option that we are talking here, there is no challenge of this. Here they are trying to test you. Are you going to write step by step? How broad you think, how systematically you think, how streamlined thinking you have. That kind of thinking they will have. And that is how, let's say here, if you are not having streamlined thinking, then you will miss some of the points. And that is how the challenge in course of action. Course of action, they have basically reduced asking, they just frame specific questions. But it should be step by step. Means basically this is what we say, that the steps would go like this. Means ki small steps to bigger step, that way. And you can write 1 to 6, 7, जितना आपके पास depend करता है कि how many options the question has. If there are only 3 options in the question, you can write 6, 7 steps, 8 steps, people write like this. And if there are 4 options, let's say, you restrict, reduce accordingly. This way. Then you have to write a collective justice. You don't have to choose in this. इसमें आपको choose नहीं करना है. You don't have to choose any option in this. And then thereafter you have to write a justification. Even if they do not ask, you just write justification, 2, 3, 4 lines of this. That is called course of action. Right? This. Now, what AI says. अगर आप AI पे, चूँकि people and students are taking help of AI, तो what AI says. आप चेक कर सकते हो AI पर. AI will give you choose the option, and in option वाला में AI will choose and then it will discuss course of action. That is wrong. Right? After choosing, you don't have to write course of action unless it is asked. You have to write justification. But then उसके फेड में क्या है कि it is writing course of action also. That is wrong. Even in course of action also it is choosing the option. So both way it is doing wrong. Yes. So that is what you should keep in mind. Right? And this is about course of action. Now, next is called ethical issues, ethical dilemma, you know that? Yes. That how you will distinguish the answer, let's say that, when you are writing any answer, they ask ethical dilemma. They ask ethical. तो सिंस यू आर कंसेप्चुअली क्लियर, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. जिसको कंसेप्ट क्लियर नहीं है उसके लिए प्रॉब्लम है. तो वी हैव टोल्ड यू दैट कि व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग एथिकल डिलेमा, तो यू राइट कन्फ्लिक्टिंग वैल्यूज, एंड व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग एथिकल इश्यूज, राइट compromising values, the values which have been compromised. And here you write conflicting. This is conflicting, that is compromised. What is compromised? The conflicting is means versus and this, and this is breach of trust. This, the breach of trust, conflict of this, loss of human dignity. So this way, if हालांकि ऐसा rare, it is very rare that कि they will ask in the same question ethical dilemma and ethical issues. Very rare ऐसा होता है. But if at all they do that, you can distinguish by writing this as a compromise value. This is as a conflictual values. This, so this can be now. Finally, let's say the reaction. Reaction is about expression of your view. Yes. Reaction is an act of expression of view. Right? It is not action. It is not action. Still, I have my old way to explain. Example, how you can distinguish between course of action and let's say that ki reaction. So suppose you watch any movie and then you come out and then people ask, how was movie? So you give your view on that movie. Right? You don't reply कि नहीं movie तो अच्छा नहीं था, अगली बार मैं ही बनाऊंगा. This. So, no, next time I will make it to show director की movie बनता कैसे है. Right. So remember this line. Right. So making movie will be action. You should know that. Making movie is an action. Expressing your view is a reaction. That is the difference. तो when case study will come, we'll tell you that how to react. आजकल reaction करने का भी काफी तरीका थोड़ा बदल गया है. We react as per the different issues in the case study. So what we used to tell reaction in 13 and you talk today, there will be difference. That is how we have to see that this is the, let's say, related to reaction. Right. Now, they can have, let's say that, कि response. Discuss what will be your response. कई बार बोलते हैं. What will be your response? This. So when we say that, what will be your response? This. So response is, you can write reaction also. Reaction plus course of action. Yes. But people largely write this, they do not write. It does not matter. Because there is no any such hard and fast rule, let's say that, on this. So that way you can consider. But if you are writing in this, when they say response, you can write reaction also, you can write course of action also. So that is how the, let's say, other aspects of instruction. Then largely, let's say, these are other sundry types, let's say. Preparing a report, so the way recommendations are given, you have to write a report. The report, you can write the way any committee writes report. Once they have asked, they have not repeated it. Then let's say that the consequences, so we'll give you 1-2 case study on that, we'll talk. Basically, it is like write the option. They say when consequence, they will say that prioritization and this. So once they have asked Uttarakhand, basically one disaster happens, there are some people to rescue them. So what should be your prioritization? This. The prioritization goes as per the vulnerability, let's say that. Vulnerability mapping, this is how you can say this. So that way we can do prioritization. Then the consequence. So basically when they say that what are the options, their instruction will be what are the options, and each option that you take or step you take, it will have its own consequence. Discuss the consequence and how you will overcome them. This type of thing. So when they are saying that कि let's say step, तो आपने step 1 लिया, then इसका consequence, and then how to overcome. This basically step, the obvious is that the consequence means largely it is negative, but there can be even positive also. So positive you can write not that too much, not highlighting much, but negative is more because overcome तो negative का ही करना होगा. You have to overcome negative consequence rather than positive consequence. It means that they are asking from you that you write a step, you think what is the consequence, and you think what is the solution. Right. In that case, you should not write more than 4 steps. You know why? Because there will be challenge to write these things. So these are some of the instructions when we talk on case studies, etc. Right. That is how we should know. Now let's take this next, how to structure. Structure of any answer. Intro, then questions, then conclusion. This. Now questions can be as we told that A, B, this, what to write, this, how to end. This. There is scope to do that. So yes, nowadays this is how it is being done. Yes, and this is now ongoing trend. It is ongoing trend. That has again brought scope for variety. It has brought a scope for variety. Because students, let's say, this depends on your planning, etc., how you are going to do that. This, which will show this now. Is it important to start into, let's say, generally introduction? So is it important to write introduction? Yes. Is it important to write introduction? This. So yes and no both. This you can say this. Yes. Yes. Right, कोई जरूरी नहीं है. This. So when we are running out of time, this. So it is not needed to introduce first, second. If case studies are very big. You know, 2022 paper we counted. Total words in the paper were 3400. केस स्टडी का पूरा एथिक्स का पेपर हम लोगों ने काउंट किया था. Right, how many words they have. So you have 3400 words in the question paper, and how many words you write basically? तो 4800 to 5400 words you write. तो इसी को अगर मैनिपुलेट कर देगा बच्चा तो आंसर हो जाएगा. तो रीडिंग 3400 will take time. Just we want to do a reading only, nothing else. You just want to do reading. That is how, let's say, in such scenario, let's say, no, it is not needed. But this is a rare scenario. This. So that is how you have to follow the trend. This is one thing. Second thing is that there are 6 case studies. In 6 case studies, suppose you write in 4 introduction, in 2 just write direct answer if you are running out of time. This. That is how we can consider about introduction. Then the next question comes, what to write in introduction. What to write in introduction. So this is a new trend. That's why I told you that if a candidate we taught in 2021, 23, this was not a trend. Yes, but now it is the most common trend. Why it is the most common trend? Why it has become the most common trend? Because nowadays this is the age of direct answer writing. You may have, if you have written in other, let's say, so people will be telling you, guiding you that direct answers, this, right? They will tell you don't write lots of background, etc. Write direct answer. This is also a direct answer. So you have to just give, let's say, that description, and this description can be maximum 2 to 3 lines. This, you can give a description of 2 to 3 lines. Let's say this. So this naxalism wala case study you have, right? The given case study poses a challenge that security is how to, let's say, do not compromise security. How there can be absoluteness in terms of security, at the same time, let's say, women, the role of the state is welfare and compassion. This.
Just highlight the situation.
Yes, just highlight the situation. This way. आपके पास टाइम है, आपको लिखना है अच्छा से, तो आप तो और भी अच्छे से लिखोगे. जस्ट वी आर टॉकिंग कि मोस्ट कॉमन क्या चल रहा है. तो फर्स्ट व्हाट हैज हैपन कि डायरेक्ट आंसर यू राइट. तो दिस इज अ डायरेक्ट स्टार्ट. डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम, जस्ट 2-3 लाइन गिव एंड देन कम टू द ABC, जो AB, this whatever this question they have given. This. Now, why it has also happened? It has happened because of this. There you have the scope, as I told you that, scope of incorporating. So then nowadays what students will do that they will make this one very strong. There they will show their uniqueness. And as I told that they will write, let's say you have ethical dilemma, so someone is writing ethical dilemma, this. तो आपने देखा होगा अगर टॉपर्स के कॉपी में तो विभिन्न 7 and 8 ethical dilemmas they are writing. This. So when you will find 7 and 8 ethical dilemmas, this is how it is. Since your role has increased here, your role has decreased. Yes. This, so you will also follow this. We will also tell this. This is the most common. But since we want to write better, people may have, let's say, not problem of time, etc. You try to practice also in that way. So when you practice, तो we still tell that कि आजकल मान लो इसको हम we say is A. This if I say A, so we will say A plus means description plus we can write something else also. Right? So we can write description plus, let's say we can write about stakeholders, or generally we teach you ethical and legal, let's say framework, ethical and legal framework. This role as administrator. What an administrator is guided. Suppose it is not an option, what you will do as an administrator, etc. The आजकल students also write, suppose you are an administrator, what an administrator is guided by. A chief secretary or secretary is guided by, or what a chief secretary is supposed to play role in that situation. This, either you can write ethical legal framework, then stakeholder, now role or etc. Depends ki how you write yourself like this. So this, let's say this is how it can be. This, in most of the answer generally we follow this and we follow this. In some answer we follow this and stakeholders. This way. So that is how you can say that about introduction part when we talk. Let's, as far as quotations are concerned, whether you should write quotation in beginning, this, yes, it is not a problem, but don't make your introduction bulky. This way, introduction should not be bulky. Why? Suppose कि you make your introduction bulky and then you are not able to complete answer, then how it will be said? This, so that will not be seen, that it is a wastage of time. This we can consider. Now, concluding part, let's say this. So you remember, since again we know कि we teach theories quite this and that way, तो आपका theory इतना strong है कि आप कोई ना कोई एक philosophy से end कर सकते हैं, right? You will link with philosophy, let's say, like as per themes, right? You know that although we'll tell you theme wise philosophy etc. also, that is how. So suppose you know this, if environment related you have philosophy and theme. Quotation, you told you Margaret Mead statement, isn't it? You won't have society if you destroy environment. Triple. Yes, so that way. If it is related to civil service, you know about Sardar Patel, know about Nolan Committee, this, that way. If you know about society, the society, you know about Amartya Sen, you know about theory of justice. So basically case studies will be related to either integrity, social justice, this, or sustainable development. यही तो होगा. Right. It will be easy to link with philosophy and end with a quote. That is what about all. This, so this Any question before that we take next? Yes.
So if we are linking with philosophy in conclusion part, then won't we link the philosophy in question body part itself?
Yes, we will link. There are so many philosophies, so many things to link. It is not that only we have to write in beginning part. Right? Let's see that we have made one sample. It is for sample. The sample के लिए है तो we have given 8 questions. It is not necessary because we wanted to show course of action also. अच्छा ये कर्स लिखा गया है, typing error. So we have written dilemma also. We have written ethical issues also. Then this course of action. This then option also. This we have just made it to show you today how we write it. Now let's say that the case study is related to so you are a district state city where illegal encroachments have. This is how encroachment related. We have been expecting a question on encroachment related topic. You should know this. Then the municipal corporation has issued multiple notice. Blah blah things has happened. Land this that. Let's say the final notice. Let's say you gave her 7-day deadline for voluntary removal, clearly mentioning demolition action thereafter. On the last day of the notice period, residents and traders organized protests claiming that they need more time. Protest has become violent. There is tense environment as residents traders have threatened to block the highways going through the city. The demolition is also purely timed as school board exams. This is how the pressure tactics underway, and several students living there are at risk of losing their homes, studying environment. Several activists, media persons, and other pressure tactics highlight mental trauma faced by students during exam due to the fear of demolition. Meanwhile, the municipal department, political leaders pressure you. That is third pressure. This to proceed with demolition as delaying it could weaken the authority of, let's say, law and order, citing the deadlines where they already extended earlier. Right? This. So suppose you have to write this case study, so a description you have to start. A short description. This. So what we can write on description basically. अब आपके पास ऑप्शंस है डिस्क्रिप्शन लिखने का. Since already such type of things have been happening, you know that, so you can start with that also. That encroachments and demolition etc. Supreme Court remark etc. तो उससे भी start कर सकते हैं. That is how it is called uniqueness. What we told you that कि generic formula. Right, that formula can be enriched, customized on the basis of your own understanding on that. This way. Right. Yes, we can start with that also, but that will be a bit more legalistic introduction. This, which if you start with a Supreme Court remark related to that article, it is good. 21, right to life, let's say that, this aspect. So let's take that ki how we have started in this. So we have given like this. The rule of law demands removal of encroachments with absoluteness of Kant deontology, but social contract also creates a moral obligation to ensure a dignified life to people. Right? Liberty and property are inalienable, right? John Locke's. This means John Locke you can consider. The case demands advanced approach to balance both. This. It is a philosophical start that way, this way. You can start with Supreme Court का जो demolition वाले पे Supreme Court ने बोला था ना, house is something like this. I think I may have shown somewhere ना कि house is not like this और वो इसमें होगा कहीं ना कहीं. I will let's say कि check कि अगर है. Yes. We have given this. A house is a house of hope. तो आप ये भी start कर सकते हैं. That will be a good start. This house is not just a property, but embodies the collective hopes of family or individual for stability, security, and of future. This. Anyhow. Now, let's say that this is for, you can follow, it may not follow, it is up to you. Why we give? We give because we want you that you should have some information related to law, related to philosophy. And at least in one case study, we expect that you can write as introduction. So legal framework means what are the laws which are going to guide you. तो लेट्स से कि आर्टिकल 21 एजुकेशन वाला भी है. म्यूनिसिपल एक्ट चूँकि डिमोलिशन इज रिलेटेड टू म्यूनिसिपल एक्ट, अर्बन प्लानिंग लॉज, एंड इट इज राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट, इट इज रिलेटेड टू रूल ऑफ लॉ. एंड द फिलॉसफी विल बी लेट्स से नेचुरल जस्टिस, ड्यू प्रोसेस, सोशल जस्टिस, ड्यूटी, एथिक्स एंड कंपैशनेट स्टेट. That is how it is. But again, you are not supposed to write all. You can choose to write 2 and 3. You can choose to write that. This. That way also it can be start. Now the question says that कि dilemma क्या होगा? Right, dilemma. So rule of law, let's say कि, but before we write dilemma, it's like, let me ask that what can be dilemma? Because already we have taught you dilemma. No, till some dilemmas. District magistrate. Professional ethics versus personal ethics. Any other?
Bureaucratic compliance versus right to livelihood.
Bureaucratic compliance versus right to livelihood. Responsibility versus compassion.
Responsibility towards law and order versus compassion about the lives of the people.
So this is how, let's say that, see, there are two types of ethical dilemmas when you write. One ethical dilemma is that it should be general, you can write means and ends, law versus ethics, deontology versus utilitarian. Another ethical dilemma is that it is related to specific of that case. In this case, the most important aspect is justice versus rule of law. Most important is justice versus rule of law. That we can consider. So let's see that what we are writing. This is rule of law versus dignified life. Now, पहले क्या होता था? Now, how a student can innovate it? So in past, students can only write this and explain it. Today, a student can add a quotation also in this, example also in this. That is uniqueness. Right? Depends how you are prepared, how much you are prepared. We have also tried to add in each dilemma one quotation or philosophy. If you take like this, dignified life, you know that adherence to law is the bottom line. Already you know that law is not the ceiling. The main aim of law is to protect life, not to take life. Then compassion versus law enforcement. This happiness wala, let's say that right to education versus public interest. This children के लिए हो गया this. And lawfulness of action versus timeliness of action. Your action is lawful, but is it right time, let's say, to take action? This. And in each, this is how, let's say that, we have tried to link it. So, let's say, we have tried children are future of the country. Right? This kind of thing. Now, if you take ethical issues, so what we have done is this. So, we have tried to write conflict wala also, and then each example also we have given. This is your highest level of answer enrich answer, you can say this. The enrich answer is one where you write not only issue, you link with an example. Write issue, link with one example. This. And here we are writing largely this disruption of this. Halaki one we have written like this. Then loss of administrative independence, disproportionate use of force. That is how ethical issues now. This response means course of action. You can write immediate also, you can write. This, so what we have tried to write? Immediate suspension. What should be done in this? Because people are protesting and this is examination time. So is it a right step? Should we suspend? Why we should suspend? Why we should suspend? So you should have justification for that. See, law is for people, people are not for law. Right? Or encroachment, if you postpone for 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, it hardly matters. If you do not postpone, it matters to the life of people. It disrupts their life. Plus, I will tell you, we'll share you that Khedi Gaon or Khodi Gaon. Khedi Gaon is something in Faridabad. 5,000 people or 10,000 people, they were relocated. It took almost more than 10 years. This. So, we should not be in such a hurry. Right? After all, the aim is also to ensure dignified life to people this way. So that is how we can consider. So this is how, let's say, immediate suspension. Then we have given example also. So you can write also like this. And we have written a code, let's say that, quotation also. There is a quote above the court of law, you know, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. This. Dialogue and peace, etc. This is how we have given one IS, wahi Rahul Dhote ka example. He had said, I have given example. So that way you can give an example, let's say this. That was related to demolition. Then we have given other, let's say, question raised over demolition, etc. Review demolition. This we are showing to for sample circuit. When from tomorrow you will start writing practice. When you will tomorrow come, they will give you case study to write. This. I will upload also on portal so that at least you write one case study. जब आप लिखोगे तब आपको पता चलेगा कि basically let's say कि what I have to write, how I have to write. Then you learn better. नहीं तो it is just lecture. I can dictate you can write it. Hardly you can, let's say, कि benefit from this. Then we have given some example. You can use such in, let's say that कि examples, etc. That is how you know that 10,000 people. This. So Khodi Gaon, let's say, this is the biggest, world largest evacuation. It was in Faridabad. But the case started since, it is not given here, it started 2014 back. This, or at least 18, let's say that. Means it took certain number of years. This. Now this is how justice must do this. Lord Hayward statement we have given. I think इसमें लिखा होगा, yes. This. So what we are just trying to just show that it takes time to successfully evict people from encroachment areas. This. Anyhow, then we have given Supreme Court statement. Then in the last what we are given? Basically, we are talking about respect to people, Tagore statement. This. Now, suppose you have to write option, so you are not supposed to write option the way we have written. Now, let me tell that कि अब क्या चलता है, what is going on as of now. So, past. This is a change. So, suppose you have to write only options, you don't have to evaluate. So, you can write like this. Right? Or you have to just write options and then evaluate, don't have to choose. You can write like this. आजकल express, this is how expressing view. You express a view on that, whether it is right, it is not necessary you will write acceptability. When we write about ethicality, that way also we write this, or we write acceptance, we write rejection. So this is an innovation, you know, that's this. The means today students do not only write just option, they will also write their view on that. It is acceptable, less acceptable, more acceptable, rejectable. That is how it is. In the outset itself, it gives the view that which option is most appropriate. Even if it has not been asked, you will write the most appropriate, but you have given a view on that. So that is how it can be done. Right? Because the way we have written, you cannot write in your answer. There is no space. The space, let's say, we don't have a space constraint. But your, let's say that another way to write is, yes. Now suppose you have to evaluate. You have to evaluate options. Pros and cons you have to write. The way it is written, you can write option. You can write options. And then pros, cons. This. So students, what they are trying to do, they are writing option A. अब वो लिखते जाते हैं इतना because it is taking the space. The options, they will give less space for this. They will write it. They will write pros and pros. They will write cons. Now there you don't write ethicality because there is no space left in your answer. Right. This. So when you write here pros, cons, you write only keywords. Here should be only, you write keywords. Only keywords. Don't write sentence, etc., etc. Otherwise, it will be challenging. And if you can incorporate here, let's say write two such, then write any example. Pros, write any quote if you can. Write any philosophy you can. This, it depends on you. So, in past, only pros and cons used to be written. Now, a candidate can not only write pros and cons, candidate can also add one example. It can add any quote or any. तो आपको पॉजिटिव वाला फिलोसफर भी पता होना चाहिए और नेगेटिव वाला वैसे नहीं. Right. This is what the answers nowadays. So, like we have given a bit different with the option written, then what we are writing only keywords are immediate road decongestion, satisfy municipal etc. Then high risk, this let's say mental trauma, shelter loss, immediate demolition using force. Right. This, suppose the same case study you have to write options. So one will be extreme, you demolish it. This, the demolish, then it will justify, which one it will justify? Law enforcement, absoluteness of Kant, rule of law, no compromise. This. Next option is deferent withdrawal, let's say this. But third option is tactical extension. This. Getting. So that is how the options can be written. Pros and cons can be written. And that is how we can write our answers. And this is how about your strategy for case studies. So you must be tired of listening. Yes. So from tomorrow we'll try to practice some case study. Generally it happens in case study that we give case study. Generally we give you 4 case study. It is up to you how many case study you write. This. So if you want to write case study, you come early. This because case, let's say कि you cannot write class time पे तो आप लिखोगे नहीं. Right. So you can come early or you can come by writing. This we can consider. This we will upload on portal by evening tomorrow case study. You can get it down. You can write, you can come, or if you are coming here to write, you come at least 45 minutes early. The office opens around 7:30 itself or 7:14 because our first class is from 7:45. There is no problem in opening of this office here. If you want to practice, write, you can come 45 minutes early to write it. This. Unless you will write, you will not know that what you write. Otherwise, I will have to, what we will do is that we will cover theme wise. So generally we give theme. Suppose that tomorrow we are going to cover related to environment and all the sub themes related to environment. So we'll tell you some laws, some ethics. Ethics to aapko pata hi hai. Some suitable quotations, some examples. Just in theory already we have taught, already we may have told it. What will happen is that we will compiling at one place. Plus we will be telling you some other suitable quotations, theme wise. So that if you prepare theme wise, तो आपके पास ये सारा चीज होगा. Suppose you have to write case study related to environment. So already you have knowing the laws, already you know the philosophies, already you have some, as we showed you, some successful demolition, some failed demolition, any quotation, etc. So suppose कि once you know this sample answer, and then a case study come on encroachment related, so you will be having already these things. The only thing is that you have to customize as per the whatever things they have given in that case study. So that is how it helps. If we cover most of the themes and sub-themes, then you will already have laws, philosophies, examples, quotations, and then it will help you in answering that question. This is what you have to go do in remaining days, covering all different themes, including, let's say that ki social justice, IR, medical, health, और blah blah चीजें हैं, whatever like this.